Okay, hello, Zach. Please tell my audience about your short film called Ouch! Exclamation
Oh,
mark.
don't forget that
No.
exclamation point. Well, thank you for having me. It's a treat to get to talk about this. This is a short film about my experience with chronic pain, specifically an autoimmune disease called ankylosing spondylitis. It's a mouthful. Don't even try. I wanted to talk about my pain through the lens of fantasy, of fantasticism. You talk about being a Fantasia Fest. Fantasticism is not a word, and we're just gonna go right past it. But it's a genre-heavy piece that uses different genre motifs and vignettes as the main character, played by myself, is struggling to accept that this disability is with me for life.
I see. Okay. And all that in what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, nine. I know the runtime because it's
Right.
9 minutes and 11 seconds,
Oh,
which not only
wow.
I could have added that extra second and I didn't, and that's on me, and I'm gonna have to live with that. But
So are you saying you're responsible for the terrorist attacks on September 11th? Is
and
this
this is my way
true?
of finally letting the world know. For all those eagle-eyed observers out there, they're gonna see the runtime and finally put two and two together. It's a
We
heavy burden that I've had to hold for a long time.
we finally know the truth. So besides you wanting to tell people that you did 9/11 and expressing your life's pain, what were some cinematic influences for Ouch! Exclamation mark?
Yeah, so the movie is, thank God we're back on track. The movie is ultimately about how the things that you love are more important than the things that hurt you. So what I'm saying and describing sounds overly serious. This movie is not. It is meant to be fun. It is, hopefully the most fun movie about disability that you've seen. And so it leans heavily into genre and B-movie and horror motifs. There is a lot of influence from Sam Raimi, of course, but I pulled
Ooh.
things from all over. There is a moment that reminded me personally of Poltergeist, some Eternal Sunshine and the work of Michel Gondry sprinkled throughout, a vague reference to 1950s alien B movies. So what I did was basically just pulled all of these cinematic references that were living in the back of my head. Sometimes it's even shots that you misremember from a movie you watched in your friend's basement when you were 12 years old.
Sure.
And I, through many drafts, tried to figure out what were the best visuals that I could utilize to explain this thing I deal with every day.
I love it. I love it. Do you have a favorite director?
Yeah, it's a hard one to pin down. I just mentioned two of them. Certainly, Sam Raimi is a big favorite of mine. Michel Gondry is also a favorite. Gun to my head, Coen brothers are probably the best American directors we have, but it's hard to pick a favorite.
All
Right
right.
now, also, I mean, it's going to sound like left field compared to those, but Lord and Miller, I think, are two of the best doing it right now. They work a lot in the
Oh
animated
yeah.
space. I've adored every movie they've made. They defy expectations every single time.
All right. What do you think is the best thing about your short film?
Oh man, I'm a deeply self-deprecating person, so that's going to be a hard one for me to answer. But I'll give a shout out to the cinematography as well as the costuming and production design. I was very lucky to have just unbelievable collaborators. So Topher Osborne shot this film. I don't know why he agreed to work with me. He shot Dear White People, both the film and
Oh
the
wow.
show. He's unbelievably talented and brought so many of these visuals to life. Um, but the set design and the costuming is so cool. There's a look at this creature at the end that you get to see, which is, in my humble opinion, like deeply terrifying for a movie that is wacky and fun and silly. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, that is a creature. And that costume lives in my garage and scares the shit out of me about once a month. So there's lots of cool visuals, and really this was just an exercise in visuals. We wanted to just have fun and come up with as many varying visual styles as we could within one piece, in a way that hopefully doesn't come off as too gratuitous.
Okay. And what was the most enjoyable thing about creating this short film?
Yeah, it's once again getting to work with all those immensely talented collaborators, and the time that we got to put into this. You don't make short films to get rich. It is a labor of love, and that has to be true of everyone that works on it. So we spent a lot of time talking about things that probably didn't matter, but meant something to us, and that means they matter. From, coming up with our personal metaphors and reasons for why a monster should look like this and not like that, to over obsessing over what colors are going to be represented in which scene and not in others. It's just a treat to really sink your teeth in. And by virtue of the fact that it is a short, we get to put all of that obsession into this compacted runtime. It is 9 minutes of runtime, but over a year of obsession.
Wow. So you mentioned that short films are make short films to make a lot of money. Do you think that should be
Yeah.
different? Do you feel like more people should be watching and appreciating short films?
Absolutely. I mean, you get some of the most creative, wacky, out there stuff possible, and experimental too. The stakes are lower, which I think means that the room for experimentation is higher. Some people are making short films as uh, a test or a proof of concept for a feature they want to make, but many people are using it as a place to sharpen their teeth, to tell something that is deeply personal to them, or to play in a visual style. You see, obviously, a lot of young talent coming up through the short film world, but people taking chances on stories that I don't think are going to be told other places.
Oh, okay, so maybe Ouch turns into a feature, or maybe the ideas within it inspire a feature, or paving the road. Help me out here.
Yeah, as far as what it was, Whiplash kind of made that template years ago, right? Where it was a short film, and he said, "Actually, I have the feature script right here." And cooked one of the best movies of the last decade.
Mhm.
I don't know that this one has a life as a feature. I think I did the thing, but certainly there are themes, and if nothing else, the approach to bringing an interior life, um, showcasing that externally through larger than life visuals, is something I want to continue to play with in a future feature.
As of now, give me your thoughts on Fantasia Fest.
Say again?
As of now, give me your thoughts on Fantasia Fest.
Yeah, I this is gonna be my first time coming. I've been a huge fan from afar, and when I set out to make this film, I had the beginning, middle, and end of the list, and it was Fantasia. So I am so grateful and humbled to get to be a small part of this festival. It is the bastion of genre filmmaking. It is the place you go to watch things that are weird and funky and fun and out there. And it seems to me like a festival with true cinema lovers coming from all over the world, because they love genre, they love low art and high art all the same. And what I love about the fantastic, what I love about genre filmmaking, is that it's not afraid to go there um, it knows that movies are all about eliciting a reaction. And so the films that you see showcased in a lineup like this are ones that are going to use every trick in the book to elicit big reactions, to use the full power of cinematic storytelling. It's such a great slate this year, especially, and I'm just looking forward to getting there and feeling that energy in person.
I love it. So if you were Vito Corleone, the Vito Corleone of Hollywood, for, let's say 3 months,
Okay.
what would you like to see the industry do going forward, coming out of this COVID slump, or whatever the heck you want to call
Wow, I'm Vito Corleone. This is huge.
it? Just for
Tell my
three
wife,
months.
tell my wife to watch out for the car. Don't start the engine. Uh, well, I think that we've obviously seen this move to the extremes over the last decades plus, where the whole middle class of films has been hollowed out. We don't get movies that are in the 30 to $60 million range anymore.
Mhm.
And those are some of my favorite movies. So that personally, I know they have their reasons for it. They've run their numbers and decided that the math doesn't math. But the easy answer is that instead of making one $300 million movie, let's make a couple $15 million movies. Let's let people make things that are specific and true to who they are. I also think that there are a lot of what might be considered the niche audiences that are not niche at all, who are hungry for stories that reflect and represent their lived experience. There's just so many great stories to tell. And personally, I don't need to see another Deadpool. That's just me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Don Zach, let's say, for 3 months. Thank you so much for your time. It was a lot of fun talking to you today. What's next for you?
Well, if you know anything about my day job, I make stuff for a digital audience. So we just launched Second Try, which is our subscription service. We're having a lot of fun experimenting over there with new shows, making stuff that's getting lots of great feedback. So that is where my main focus is right now, but I'm looking forward to, once this festival run is over, exhibiting this film online so it can be seen by a wider audience. And then I'm having fun in the early stages, thinking about what the next short would be. And that is more likely one that could be turned into a feature as well. So that's where I'm playing right now.
I love it. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I don't know anyone in Canada, so I'll see you in a few days and I'll be looking for you.
Okay, cool.